Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1. Guys, United take 3 huge steps towards Champions League qualification. And believe it or not, have pushed themselves up to third place under Michael Carrick. The winning ways continue. The unbeaten streak with Carrick continues. United still haven't lost a game in 2026. Wins like this make the sun shine just that little bit brighter. But guys, with all the positivity that I'm trying to bring to this video, I must also say, you have to call a spade a spade. That was one of the most, bland, uninspiring. United didn't play well, really, throughout a majority of the 90 minutes, but especially in the first half. I've actually been a decent fan recently, as of late, of how United have played. I think they actually had a pretty good first half against Everton, and people seem to really dislike that first half. But I don't know. Today, that first 45 minutes, I thought was absolutely terrible. It felt like United just lost control. Kobe Mainu, a player who I will praise for eons, too many loose touches. Same with Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes was attempting these flicks. Diogo Dalot, every time he charged up the pitch, just possessed the quality of me charging down the right flank. The second he gets past that halfway line today, guys, the ball might as well have gone out of play. Just the touchline felt so close to every United move. It just couldn't feel like we had an inch of space to work with. And obviously that pressure was brought on by the Crystal Palace goal. Within the first 3 minutes, guys, there were 3 really concerning things that I kind of marked. The first 2 were this. The ball would kind of get pushed into the middle with Stren Larsen and 2 other players. So it'd be almost a triangle of Palace players right outside the United box. Okay. Then on either side, you would have Mitchell down the left or Munoz down the right. Guys, you have the 3 of them linking up just inside the box. United defenders turn, look towards the ball. Mitchell goes bombing pass. Munoz goes bombing pass. Within the first 3 minutes, that happens twice. And I believe the second one actually ends up setting up the Palace goal. Just central progression and then pushing it out wide. With wingbacks, that's kind of a standard style of play. That's typically what you would like to see them do. Ball gets pushed to the middle, then goes out wide, and then back inside. It's pretty standard stuff. But guys, the rate at which United allowed it so early on, it was deeply concerning. And, we can talk about the maybe Lenny Yuro's fault on the Lacroix goal 4 minutes into the match. But guys, listen, I also think that maybe we put a bit too much. Someone has to be in the wrong of every single United goal, or of every single goal in general, no matter the team. The defender had to have done something wrong. Maybe Euro could have done a little bit better on the one-on-one against Lacroix. But guys, that was also a fantastic header. That was fantastically timed, looping up perfectly onto the head of Lacroix. Acres of space to work with, but he was so far outside of Sonny Laman's in goal. It would have taken a genuinely perfect header, and that's just what he had. He jumped up perfectly. The ball crossed in was perfectly looping up perfectly onto Lacroix's head. Sometimes it's just a great goal rather than poor defense. So I don't necessarily blame Euro too much for that. And you would typically like to see that kind of be the Kickstarter. Okay, United go down by 1 early, but there's still 87 minutes to play at this point. You can push on, get the tying goal, get the winning goal, and instead it just kind of everything ensued that I mentioned. We were playing way too sloppy. The midfield battle felt like we were constantly getting overwhelmed. It felt like we had to push the ball right back to a Shaw or a Maguire or a Euro every single time. Shaw obviously gets injured, gets replaced by Mazraoui. He's not that much better. We just kind of lack. Up until around the 30th minute, when the fans really get into it, United lacked. And guys, one of the pitfalls that I've noticed, especially in today with the game plan of Michael Carrick, it so heavily revolves around Bruno Fernandes. It really does, and I don't think that's a problem, but I think the way in which you use him could be problematic at times. Today Towards the end of the first half and beginning of the second half, when Fernandes was getting marked out of the game, he had to constantly drop in. The only way they found production out of him was lobbing the ball forward and having Fernandes play as the point. Him playing as the relay man in these kind of half spaces outside the box. The amount of times, genuinely, guys, rewatch the highlights of that match. Notice the amount of times Fernandes gets on the ball and an underlapping run or under overlapping run from Brian and Mbeumo follows. Every single time. We have no progression. No progression through the midfield because our touches are sloppy. You can't go really to either fullback because they're getting marked down the wings. It's straight down to Fernandes, and he finds the overlapping, underlapping runner. It's pretty concerning. And in about the 30th minute, United do get a little bit more of a stable foot on the ball. They start to create these kind of half chances. But it really feels like it's only going to be Bruno. And you know, I know today results in a win, but guys, results like this, you have to take them with a grain of salt. I mean, you have to really value them because they're not going to come super often. And recently, under this kind of Carrick tenure, they've been happening probably more than they should. So I'm happy, as I've mentioned, the sun is shining. I'm in a great mood this Sunday, but you do want to see a little bit more of a sustainable style. What happens if Bruno can't fully get himself into these games? And windy overlapping run of Mbeumo is getting marked. So going into the half, I was pretty worried, but there's still 45 minutes to play, and that was probably the best thing I could say about that whole entire first half from United was that there was still more time to play. Obviously, just a couple minutes in, the Lacroix red card he pulls down was Acuna. Bruno slices the ball out in front of the two. Cunha gets onto it, gets pulled down from Lacroix. It's immediately given as a penalty, and then it's checking for VAR for denial of a goal scoring opportunity, which obviously would mean it would be a red card. A penalty, sure, because the foul goes on into the box. A red card, I don't know. That does maybe feel a little bit harsh. I know obviously referees are kind of judging it based on the momentum of the game, but Palace were the better side. They didn't deserve at all to really go a man down based on how they were playing. But at the end of the day, obviously I'm not too upset about it being a United fan. He gets given a pen, he gets given a red card. Bruno steps up, makes it 1-1, and the immediate thought is, okay, we're going to push on, we're going to get this winner. That's the thing I will say. I know I've kind of attacked Carrick's tactics thus far, but this is something I will give him tremendous credit for. This team never knows when to stop. They will always, always, always keep going. There was never a doubt in my mind that the second we got the first goal to tie it up, the second goal wouldn't be there. I knew we would get the winner if we just got the first. And, sure enough, minutes later, Bruno with an absolutely brilliant cross onto the head of Benjamin Sesko, makes it 2-1. Sesko is his sixth goal in seven games. Brilliant from him. He's done a brilliant job. Either off the bench or starting. I'm not really fussed on either. And then from that moment on, from that great kind of half space cross from Bruno onto Sesko, it goes up 2-1 United. The game is pretty much over. Guys, I was talking earlier. This genuinely might be the longest Premier League match I've ever watched in my whole entire life. It genuinely felt like it lasted 4 hours. And when United got that second goal, time genuinely felt like it started to freeze. The next, even though it was only 25 or 30 minutes left, it felt like it took forever. And obviously being up 2-1, although having an 11v10 advantage, you just wanted the game to end. And I think United did a great job of marshalling the game. They had a couple kind of chances. Xerxes had one or two chances. Casemiro had a shot that was saved by Henderson. I just would have put the game to bed. But overall, listen, guys, it's a 6 out of 10 performance where we just get a little bit lucky. But guys, over the course of a 38-game season, 50 to 60% of the matches you win are going to be results like this. The other team just makes a mistake, and you have to capitalize. It's something we never did under Ruben Amorim, but we're really doing with Carrick so far. And while I still don't think he's has the credibility to be a Manchester United manager. He's reinstated really what it means to be a player and that never give up mentality. And I think it's absolutely great. Just a couple people I want to talk about real quick. Brian Mbuemo. A lot of people have been kind of rightly criticizing his off the ball work. If he's not getting a goal or an assist, kind of what is he doing? And he didn't help his case today. He really is struggling. I know kind of for attackers, you can forget about their performances if they produce the game-winning goal or if they get an assist. But guys, it is starting to become a worry. Cunha, I think down the left today, you can never tell if he was attacking the left wing or just kind of that left pocket in beside Sesko at the 9. And I felt like United players couldn't tell that either. Is he trying to cut inside, which I probably think is the better route for him, or is he trying to get out wide and send it across? Both, I think. Neither, I think he did really well with today. Sesko, I mean, he scored the winning goal. You really can't fault him. I think the passes played into him were largely pretty poor. It felt like we were kind of positioning him. We were getting him the crosses just inside the box. Like there has to be that space, that kind of middle ground in between Henderson or whoever the goalkeeper is and the box where strikers thrive. Kind of where Sesko got his goal today, that kind of middle third in that box. That's where you want to put the ball. It's too far for Henderson, but it's not too far for Sesko to get his head onto it and produce a meaningful header. But today, guys, a majority of those crosses were just kind of like lame duck, see what happens, throw it up into the middle, and Sesko's how tall? What, 6'3", 6'4"? I don't know. He's probably taller than that. He's a giant. See what happens when he gets onto it. And I do think that's a little bit concerning. I think defensively today, after the first 15, 20 minutes where Palace easily could have gone on and gone a second, the team started to play a lot better. I think as the second half wore on, Manu looked a lot better on the ball. Same with Casemiro. I think we stopped kind of stenchuling play with Dalot down the right-hand flank, guys. I'm not joking. 4 times, maybe it was 3. 3 times in that first half. He's charging down. United are on the counterattack, and the ball somehow goes out of play. It just somehow goes out for a Palace throw-in. But listen, scrappy result. But at this point, guys, I do not care. There's what? 10 games left? Under 10 games left of the season? Every win matters, and today's a massive win. Up next is Newcastle on Wednesday. St. James Park. I really have to reel back the years to try and remember the last time we won there. It feels like it's been a very, very, very long time. It's going to be a tough match. They have obviously an industrious midfield, but I'll be here for that, guys, and I'll talk to you all soon. God bless.